everybody, and welcome to a very special edition of True Crime Paranormal with the Psychic Sisters. This is a breaking news report from us, something we don't usually do, but there has been an enormous amount of movement this morning on the missing children in Rexburg. We've been covering this case for a while. We've done 7 episodes on this case about all of the ins and outs and twists and turns, but at the end of the day, the most important part of this case is that 2 children have been missing from Rexburg, Idaho since September. Their names are Tylee Ryan and JJ Vallow. Their mother, Lori Vallow, has been in the Madison County Jail now for a few months on charges of child abandonment and a few other things. Their stepfather, Chad Daybell, has been free. He has been living as if nothing is wrong. He is under suspicion of killing his wife, Tammy, who died shortly after the kids did, but there haven't been any charges or much movement in this case until now.
Yeah.
That all changed today. This morning at 7 a.m., Madison County Police, or Rexburg Police, Fremont County Police, and the FBI served Chad Daybell's home with a search warrant. They set up an enormous perimeter. No cars, you can't get anywhere near it, about a mile out from around the home. This is a country home on a busy road. And they went to work with cadaver dogs, searching the property with imaging. They had blue tents set up. Nobody could get near. The rumor we heard is that they were searching for JJ. JJ was 7 years old when he disappeared. He recently turned 8. I had an opportunity to join my daughter, who is a student reporter, to go to the press staging area. The press staging area proved to be easily a mile away from the home. I'm going to share some pictures and video as we talk here. It was as close as we could get. But we were able to be privy to a press release, a statement by Madison, Fremont, and the FBI. And we're going to share that video with you now, and then I will interpret. It was on a big, busy road, and the wind was blowing hard. You might not be able to hear much, but we're going to let you watch it because
impossible.
Yeah, we'll let you watch it because we were there. So we'll do that now.
So maybe we just start off with introductions real quickly. I'm Chief Shane Sherman with the Rexburg Police Department. Directly to my right is my Assistant Chief of Police, Gary Hagan. And then to his right is Sheriff Lynn Humphreys of Fremont County. Today, Officer Hagan will be giving the release, and so I'll turn the time over to him.
Okay, we'd first like to thank everybody for coming out today. Thank everybody that's been following this case from day one. This has been a very trying thing for everybody involved. We just want to emphasize how thankful we are for everybody. Again, my name is Assistant Chief Gary Hagan. Spelling of my last name is Hagan, Hagen. Wanted to give a brief press release today about some events that have occurred today in regards to our missing children's case of Tylee Ryan and Joshua Vallow. This morning we served the Rexburg Police Department and the Fremont County Sheriff's Office and the FBI served a search warrant in the 200 block, 1900 East here in Fremont County, also known as Chad Daybell residence. Throughout the investigation, detectives and investigators have recovered what's that have not been identified at this time. We're not going to answer any questions at this time in regards to any of the further the investigation until we have more details, but we were wanting to get this out to let everybody know before there's speculation or rumor that starts flying. So again, we're not going to take any questions at this time. We'll save that for a later press conference when we have more details. But again, we just want to reemphasize how much appreciation we have for you guys for coming out here and for covering this, and for the families and friends and everybody.
Can you just repeat what you said about human remains? The road noise completely blocked that back here.
I'm sorry.
Can you just repeat what you said about human remains? The road noise totally blocked it.
So during the investigation, the investigators and detectives have recovered what's believed to be human remains that are not identified at this time. I do want to add that Chad Daybell, who resides at that residence, has also been taken into custody for questioning in regards to that. And again, we'll give further press release at a later time and take questions regarding that.
Thank you.
Or if we have that. So, okay. Thank you.
Okay. So I know that was really difficult to hear. There were a lot of cars coming past. You noticed at the end I did ask for some clarification because some of the key things that the officer said were lost in
like
the road
the
noise.
most key information.
So we got closer and clarified. What they said is that human remains have been found. They do have forensics there, identifying
An anthropologist.
an anthropologist identifying those remains. That is literally all they could tell us at this point. They did say later off camera, we were able to visit a little bit more. They were unable to verify for us if this was more than one set of remains. They were unable to verify for us really anything else, except for that we were able to get on their email list for the next press release, the next press conference that will be coming. They said they will give 2 hours notice, and we will be able to attend the next one and get closer to the house at that point. We're going to share some aerial footage that was taken, not by us, but East Idaho News has been in their helicopter, and so we were able to take one of their pictures and blow it up a lot closer so that you can see the actual hole that they're in, and the officer that's there. They have a ladder climbing down into the hole. That's how deep this is, which really makes you wonder what that is.
Yeah.
Is it just a hole? Is it an actual bunker? There's been a lot of talk about bunkers, so or is it really just a big dirt hole, which it probably is. It looks like it's very near their septic. So one thing
it was something that's been covered that was already open in some way.
Yeah. One thing to remember about Chad is that Chad is a grave digger. He was a sexton at 2 different cemeteries. That's been a part of his careers in his adult life. He certainly knows a thing or two about burying a body. That's something we've been talking about for 9 months,
Yeah. Well, he's also a prepper. And preppers are known to have underground storage type facilities and all different kinds of things. And so, he's got 3 acres of property out in the country where nobody's paying much attention. There could be a lot of things involved here.
It's true. It's true. So that's what we know. Rumors are swirling that I can't verify that it is both children.
Yeah.
That this is both JJ and Tylee. We know that they went out there looking for JJ. We're hearing that they have found both children. Can't verify that officially, but that is what we're hearing.
Yeah. Which really goes against initially what has been swirling around, which is that potentially Tylee was in Yellowstone Park.
Yeah. Yeah.
But obviously nothing has come of that as far as, and honestly, if a body were in Yellowstone Park, I don't know how long it would last.
Yeah, for sure.
Considering, lots of varying situations.
For sure. So we don't know on that front for sure yet. We do know that Chad tried to flee and that he was pulled over and arrested. And that after that, he called Lori at the jail and told her that they were searching his property and that they were sending out a backhoe. So she knows that the hammer's coming down, and so does he. We're also hearing
There's
that
at least some element of satisfaction in that because they've both been so damn smug this whole time and appear to give absolutely not one single damn about these children. And so, although this feels like a very somber day, I've just had a sick feeling in my stomach all day. There is some satisfaction in knowing that he is in custody at least, and so is she, and that they know that we know.
Yep. Yep, for sure. So it'll be interesting to see now if they both keep their mouth shut, if they roll on each other, if someone finally just spills their guts.
Right.
There's also some scuttlebutt about accomplices,
Right.
and that there is there's a wider berth here, which we knew that. We've been saying that for a while, that we felt like there are players here that haven't really been named that are a part of this. And so that's going to
Well,
be the next very interesting thing to
it
see
is
play out,
because,
is who else
frankly,
gets charged.
yeah, because who told them where to look?
Yeah.
Because they didn't dig up that whole field. There's one hole.
Yep.
And it's 3 acres.
Yep.
I mean, you think about that. They knew where to dig.
Yep.
Somebody
they
told
did.
them. Somebody
Well, they
told
had
them.
cadaver dogs. They had cadaver dogs.
They
They searched
did.
the whole area. But yeah,
But even then,
they
you
had to
could
have had a
animals
sense.
underground. I mean, there are lots of
Mhm.
things. The thing you got to know is that some of Chad's children have been living in that house.
Yeah. Yep.
You telling me they didn't know something?
Yeah.
I have real doubts about that.
Yep.
They have been very strange through this whole thing as well.
Mhm. Yeah.
They've
They
certainly
have.
not acted like innocent people.
No, they haven't. And so, what comes next? Well, we should expect here in the next few days charges, for at least Chad and Lori, and perhaps more. I suspect there's more coming,
Mhm.
as well as
Well, an identification. It's going to
yeah,
depend on how are these
identification of the
bodies
body.
identified.
Mhm.
Because, on TV, DNA takes like 2 hours, and in real life, it takes like 6 weeks.
Right.
But there
I'm
are other ways to identify bodies, and so it
I'm
doesn't have to be
hoping that this
DNA.
will be dental.
Yes, that's what I was thinking too, is dental is much faster.
If you see pictures of JJ, he was one of those kids who had started losing his teeth and had big adult teeth and a little kid mouth. And I
Yeah,
was thinking, just earlier today, I was thinking, I'll bet those teeth aren't that hard to identify.
yeah,
You know?
that could be. That could very well be.
So there's a lot more information coming. There's obviously still a lot of unknowns, but we wanted to make sure that at least this much came out.
Yeah.
Obviously, our hearts are very much with JJ's grandparents, Kay and Larry, with Tylee's aunt, Annie Cushing, with their brother, Colby Ryan, and all of
Yes.
the other family members and friends and people that loved these kids that are extremely, have been horribly affected by this case. It's ruined their
Yeah.
lives.
Well, and
And
they've all said that they hold out hope that the children are alive. None
of
of them
course,
have said we want to give in to the idea that they've passed, even though,
yeah.
the reality of them coming through this alive has been really unlikely. And I
Mhm.
can see if it were me, if it were my family, I would feel the same way.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And it's one of the reasons why we have not conjectured on that
No.
front, because we never
No.
wanted to take away the hope from their families, or,
Right.
we just weren't going to do that.
No.
We're going to
No,
let the police do
it's
the awesome
unethical.
job they're doing. Yep,
Yeah.
it's unethical. Yep.
And
And
we
it's
watch as
happening.
the police build this case that we
Mhm.
have believed and said for a long time now that that's what was happening.
Yes.
Is that, people have said it seems like nothing's happening. I've never felt that. I have
Oh,
felt
no.
always that there
Yeah.
was all kinds of stuff going on behind the scenes to make
Mhm.
absolutely sure that when they nailed these two to the wall, they really nailed them to the wall, that there
Yeah.
wasn't gonna be any question that they were staying right where they are, that they
Yep.
were not gonna get out, that they were not gonna have an opportunity to flee.
Yep.
And
Yep.
now this just throws gasoline on the fire of the other
Mhm.
deaths, because we have Tammy, we
Mhm.
have Alex, we have Charles, and potentially Joe Ryan, all
Yep.
of whom have died at the hands of one or the other of these two, and or potentially Alex Cox, who is now dead as well.
Mhm.
So this case is
Yeah.
only really at the very beginning now.
Yeah. Well, so Alex is an interesting point,
Mhm.
because it's hard for me to not think that they're both going to immediately try and roll on Alex and
See,
blame all
me
of this on
too.
him.
Conveniently, he's dead,
Mhm.
and he is the one that many people suspect committed, all, if not most, of these murders.
Mhm.
And yeah, interestingly, that's likely where it will go.
Yep. Yep.
However, there's conspiracy here.
Yep.
Obviously, there's conspiracy here.
Yep. And they're on your property, Chad, dumbass.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Also, the other interesting thing that will have to play out here soon is Chad and Lori both have the same attorney, Mark Means.
Yeah.
We've talked about him a lot. They're extremely inadequate, not criminal attorney. Yeah.
Well, and if they're
they
facing murder
can't.
charges,
Yeah, they can't both have the same attorney.
no.
That's a conflict of interest. So one of them will have to get somebody else. That'll be
If
interesting to
not
see.
both, because
If
what
not
he's
both.
been defending Lori for is child abandonment.
Right, not
Child
murder.
murder is a much bigger deal.
Yeah. The challenge has been for them that they had some money because they had Tammy's life insurance. And so she couldn't get a public defender because her husband, they had money to pay for an attorney. There's been a lot of speculation that a lot of that money has been gobbled up and that there isn't much left. And if that's the case, then, it'll be interesting to see here what both of them do for attorneys moving forward.
Yeah, it definitely will.
Yeah. So this case is nowhere near over. We're still in the beginning,
No.
but such a big break today. The scene out there at the near the home where the media presence was, where we were allowed to be, very somber. When the officers, that you saw in the video spoke to us, very, very somber. They've been through a lot and now they're digging up children. It's absolutely unthinkable, but here we are. So we will be, updating this case. I suspect that we'll have another press conference and another video by tomorrow, hopefully with more information about who they found and, and hopefully about what charges are coming. Yeah. They've been extremely careful. They have followed every rule. They've been very careful to make sure that when charges were filed, they would stick. And so it'll be interesting to see what charges are filed.
It will.
And, how that moves forward.
Well, and how it will roll out over time. And now we have multiple state jurisdiction happening.
Yes.
With some of the other murders. And there's so much this is going to last a long time, unfortunately.
Yeah, for sure. But big news today. So that's all I've got. Are you?
I'm good. I just, I'm just sort of breathless and sick to my stomach. There's a part of me that's relieved, though, for the people that have been the family members of these children, if they can at least have some closure about where they are. I feel like the outcome isn't what they want, but at least they know, which the not knowing is so much worse. But I am very, very curious to see who else was involved, who else knew about this, who else assisted with burying 2 bodies, and who has been keeping the secret all this time.
Right. That's the thing. That's one of the things that's really kind of digging at me. So they had a tip, that they acted on. If they're having to dig those bodies out with a backhoe, they must have been put in the ground with a backhoe.
Right.
I have been around Chad's property quite a few times recently. There's no backhoe there, and there's no shed or barn big enough to house a backhoe. And so how did they dig that hole?
Right. How did
and
they
I wondered
dig
if that's where the tip, came from, was someone who maybe they did borrow a backhoe from, or they rented one, or, there's some unanswered questions there that I think will be interesting to see play out. But I they were climbing down into that hole with a ladder, you guys. Yeah, this isn't something you dig by hand, especially that your neighbors wouldn't notice,
right. Something that's been covered in some way, but they didn't dig that out themselves this morning before the backhoes came. There's no way.
No.
And I know they had a lot of officers. It was a large number of officers present this morning.
For sure.
I just feel like we've got to keep our finger on the pulse of this, but it gives me some relief to know that Chad is in custody, frankly.
Yeah. For everyone who's been asking forever. My daughter and niece passed him on the road recently. And honestly, just looking him in the face was so chilling for them. They called me screaming, "We just passed Chad Daybell." Yeah.
Well, people post on social media all the time. Here's a picture of Chad shopping for books, or here's a picture of Chad in the grocery store, because people in this community know exactly who he is. And it is chilling to see him and to just see him out in the world as a free person, knowing what has gone on here.
Yep, it sure is.
So at least this is the beginning of justice for these children.
Absolutely. And we'll be here with it. We'll continue to follow this case through its completion. We're nowhere near done, but here we are. So, all right, guys. Well, I think there'll be another update coming soon, but thanks for sitting through it with us. We would love to see your comments here. What are you thinking about? What are your questions? Right now, we're in a place where we can probably get a few answers. So if you have questions, throw them our way. We'll do our best.
Yes, absolutely.
All right, guys, take care. You've been listening to True Crime Paranormal with the Psychic Sisters. Be well.
Bye.